The Pittsburgh Penguins missing half their key players has been a staple of their team for the past few years. Right now, Sidney Crosby is still out with recovering from his sports hernia injury on the IR. So is Jake Gensel. That guy is on my buddy's fantasy team. Jake Gensel was having a career year so far, over a point per game. He's out for the rest of the season after having a nasty spill in Pittsburgh's game the other day. Really hard to watch. He's on IR. Justin Schultz, Brian Dumoulin, Nick Bukestad. They can't trade Oxnard China because they all their players are hurt. That's a pairing, like both defensemen, a lefty, a righty, and then two centers and a winger. And of course, one of those wingers is arguably the best player in the world, Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, man. I don't understand this team. Like,
I don't understand their medical staff.
Yeah, that too. But it's incredible what having two star players can do.
Oh yeah,
it is incredible.
Superstars.
Yeah. Oh man,
it's
and you look at their defense too. Like you look at their defense, and I don't even know how. Like you have Letang and Johnson and Pettersson. Then you have John Marino, Juuso Riikola, Kevin Suzman, and Chad Ruedel. Do you know any of those guys?
I know John Marino because they pointed out last night because Pittsburgh were playing Montreal how good a season he's having. He's an example of a bum you've never heard of who has just randomly shown up.
Yeah. But even their forwards, they're all contribute. I have to guess they're all contributing here. Like where
Who
they
is
sit.
Thomas DePauli?
They sit in a play. They're in a playoff spot, and they're down Sidney Crosby. They were also down Malkin. It's incredible how this team bounces back, and I think it really shows how good Jim Rutherford is at his job.
Also, do you know who was playing with Chris Letang last night?
Who?
Jack Johnson.
God. Oh, God.
Moving on to another team that has a bunch of injuries. Over the break, we found out that the Chicago Blackhawks, oh boy, do they have some problems here. Drake Caggiula on LTIR. Andrew Shaw, who is, of course, has concussion issues, so that's a guy you don't want. Missing some time. Also, LTIR, Calvin DeHaan, LTIR, Brent Seabrook, 34 years old, 5 years left on that deal with $6.8 million. LTIR, Brandon Saad is on the IR, Alex. And just for the exact tweet from them, Saad, right ankle, 3 weeks. DeHaan, right shoulder, and Seabrook, right shoulder. To both undergo surgery, miss remainder of the year. Seabrook also to undergo surgery on each hip in 2020. Ask Jesse Puljujarvi like that. He's more than a decade younger. And then, of course, DeHaan, Seabrook, LTIR. I mean, the Blackhawks weren't going to make the playoffs before, but now it's 10 times worse.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were really questioning the Brent Seabrook injury because, he obviously wasn't playing well. He was being scratched, and a lot of people were thinking that they were just trying to kind of get around his cap hit, but he actually is injured.
He really is. Seabrook's not the kind of guy. Remember that quote that came out earlier that he was really upset about him potentially being traded? Like, Seabrook's not the kind of guy.
Yeah, he's not going to go along with that.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, this, not the injuries, but this rebuild or retool, whatever you want to call it, was going to come eventually with this team. Now, sure, you got Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews, who are both 31 years old. And you got guys who are still younger who are coming up. I'm looking at their roster. Quite a few of their players are under 25.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kirby Dach, Nylander, Dylan Strome, Alex DeBrincat. It's their defense, I think, a lot of people worry about.
Also, DeBrincat, not been the same this year.
No, He has not been the same this year. I'm not sure what his stats are. I'm going to pull them up right now. But you look at their defense. You got Duncan Keith, who's 36, Oli Mata, Connor Murphy, Slater Kukuk, and then you obviously got Adam Botquist and Eric Gustafson. And those last two are kind of your promising, not promising. Eric Gustafson's 27, and it seems like he's good. He's going to be a UFA at the end of the year, and he's probably going to get paid somehow.
I don't see him staying there.
Neither do I. And I think if they're committed to just kind of going down, you could probably see Eric Gustafson move. And he makes $1.2 million against the cap.
60 points last year, left-handed, Swedish.
It seems like a guy a lot of teams would want.
Oh, of course. I would say Montreal go look at him before, of course, they went and got Marco Scandella, which we will talk about a little later. But another team that I'm amazed. I don't know how many times I saw this team's Twitter account tweet out an injury before finally wanting to bring it up here. But the Columbus Blue Jackets. Let me read you some names here. All of these guys are on the IR. Cam Atkinson, Brandon Dubinsky, Ryan Murray, Marcus Nudavara, Oliver Borkstrand, Josh Anderson, Andrew Peak, Alexander Texier, Dean Kukin, and Jonas Korpisalo are all out for the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are actually almost in a wild card spot.
Yeah, they have a lot of injuries, and it just really couldn't get worse for this team.
They have 4 players on emergency loan.
Oh my God.
I've never seen that before.
Neither have I. They are depleted, and they could really use some players right now. Mm-hmm. And I remember going into the season, we said we didn't even think of them as close, not necessarily close to the playoffs. We didn't think there was really much of a chance of them getting in because they lost Bobrovsky, they lost Panarin, Duchesne didn't come back, Dzingel didn't come back, and they ended up bringing in Gustav Nyquist.
Hey, don't underestimate Gustav Nyquist.
Oh, I'm not underestimating Gustav Nyquist. I'm listing all the players that they lost, and it doesn't seem like they were able to even really replace those guys, even one of them.
Not at all.
Now, I think the biggest loss for them obviously was Bobrovsky, and let me pull up Korpisalo's numbers right now.
They're probably better than Bobrovsky's. I'll get up Sergei's.
Get Bobrovsky's up. He's played 32 games, has a 2.49 goals against average, and a .913 save percentage.
Sergei Bobrovsky is 15-12-4. He has it doesn't have his goals against average on top. Oh, sorry. His goals against average is 3.33, and his save percentage is an .895.
Oh boy.
And he has 7 years and $10 million left. So Alex, I don't actually think Bobrovsky is a loss.
Oh yeah, no. Now that you say it, let's be honest. I don't know. We all thought Korpisalo was supposed to be something. He kind of came to the NHL. 15-16, he had a good year. Then it kind of just was dropping off. Right? And I think there are people who probably expected Korpisalo to put numbers like this up because that's when they drafted him. That's kind of what the expectation was. He was supposed to be kind of Bobrovsky's replacement, or at least back him up so they can have a good 1A and 1B like some teams are doing right now. Mm-hmm. And I think this is kind of the best thing that could have happened for them considering the last 3 years of Korpisalo.
Of course. And
for sure.
I generally wish the Blue Jackets.
As for the rest of the team, it's really bad. It could not get worse.